Hey friend, it's Bleak and welcome back to another video. Just go ahead and leave a like for support and do make sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. So let's go!
Odin Valhalla Rising has been announced for PCs and mobile devices, which lately I should point out is a very popular combo amongst Korean MMORPGs. We got to see a bunch of new trailers for the game as well, and all we know at this point is that we're likely to get a release date for the game next year. Check it out.
The fate of the gods cruelly passes onto mortals. Upon the prospect of defying fate with the power of mortals, it became well apparent that there is no escaping this tragic fate. All that remains is to unite all races of this land and fight as one. A battle with an unforeseeable end to even the gods. There lies only one final hope. Venison be upon us.
So next up it's Project Ragnarok, which is a strategy MMORPG based on Norse pantheon mythology and Ragnarok lore, sort of obviously also an open world RPG. We know this one's actually coming in early 2022 and that it's coming to both consoles and also PCs, and we might actually get a precise release date for it in just a couple months. Elden Ring is now scheduled to launch on January 21st next year to PCs, pretty much all consoles as well, and whether if it will live up to standards set by Dark Souls remains to be seen. Earlier this E3 they also finally came up with a gameplay trailer for the game, and it didn't disappoint either at all. Check it out in case you've missed it.
Be born.
Well, a lowly tarnished, playing as a lord. I command thee now!
brandish the Elden Ring. For all of us.
And we see a quiet, peaceful setting.
As in the case of the Outer Worlds 2, well, a lot of information about it is still unknown. The new game is currently in development for Xbox Series X and PCs only, possibly due out next year. And I don't know, if you're into dark humor and a fan of Fallout games like myself, you probably want to keep an eye out for this one as well.
These pointless slow-motion shots make everything seem cool and should bolster pre-sale numbers. That wah sound can mean only one thing. We must gaze over an epic shot of a world, and there should be lens flares. Now we see our hero, but only their silhouette, because the developers haven't finished the design, or finished the story, or finished any gameplay that's actually ready to show. In fact, the only thing they have finished is the title.
Coming up, we have November Eve, which is a single-player RPG currently being created by just one person in development for PCs, but might also come to consoles as well eventually. And as you've probably guessed already, it's an open world as well, and if all goes well with it, we might be in for some good news next month. Coming from Archangel Studios, some of you are already familiar with Bleak Faith Forsaken. It's an open world Souls-like with RPG elements and horror elements as well. This one's slated to release this winter and it's coming to all consoles and also PCs, I think a little bit later. Check it out.
We have always known war.
One of the mystery titles announced last year was Avowed. This one's an RPG as well, most definitely, but has a few hints of open world titles like Skyrim. We don't know anything regarding a release date at all, but Avowed is in development for PCs and Xbox Series X and S, and also maybe PlayStation 5.
Foes. Now our oaths are lost, forsaken. And you must face the monsters our sins have borne. Is an oath worth the weight of a crown?
Starfield launches November 11th next year for PCs and Xbox Series X and S. It's said to be an open world RPG, but still pretty much shrouded in a mystery. Something else you might want to keep in mind is that Starfield has been in the making for 25 years, kind of though, and it has a lot to live up to. So I'm personally really excited about this one.
It's the key to unlocking everything. This is all we've been working towards.
Jemison route looks good.
We've come to the beginning of humanity's final journey.
Prepare for departure. Graviton loop array full. Check. Your space lane is clear.
That's why we're here.
Main engines go. Ignition.
To discover what's out there.
Good luck, Constellation. You are go for launch.
Are you still haunted by the blood mist of that orc raid?
Project Dark Grey. It's totally new is what I know. It's an action RPG game with a heavy emphasis on defense and combat mechanics. Honestly, other than that, we're just waiting to hear more about the game, potentially a release window, and some development news regarding platforms. This is all they came up with.
We were no longer strangers to bloodshed, for they were gods of bloodshed. Is it these nightmares which hearken you on this fruitless yearning for revenge? Or are you in search of me, slave of the mountain?
Crimson Desert's plan to release this winter, finally. It's coming to PCs and pretty much all consoles. When, particularly, I don't know, nobody knows. As for the game itself, it's a story-driven action RPG, certainly different compared to Perlibus's previous work. Well, the last time they came up with an update, it was this. Another pretty new indie MMO with more than a few Dark Souls vibes to it is also on the way, going by Relic, or Project Relic, coming to consoles and PCs both. Right now actually slated to release in early 2023. Oh yeah, this is, the teaser trailer is the only thing they came up with. As in the case of Final Fantasy XVI, well, it's a big game. A 2022 release date is most likely at this point. We know the new game is still delivering that kind of Japanese focus experience with a hint of something a little bit different, they say. Actually due out to PlayStation 5 only, but possibly PCs as well at a later date.
I am Joshua's shield. I'm sworn to protect him.
What do you mean you refuse? Did you not pledge your sword to our cause?
What does it matter? It was the Dalmex who drove back the Crusaders in the Battle of the Twin Realms, was it not?
Without the blessing of the Mother Crystal, we cannot defend our realm from the spread of the Blight.
So I sit in the Dragoons. Imperial Vipers. Do they really mean to invade us?
The Archduke's son.
Phoenix. When nothing is right, when all is lost, the most vulnerable are stripped of all they possess.
The Korean developers Inpixel, like earlier this year, came out with
just
a
a
new
misfortune
MMORPG.
and a belief
PC and mobile devices
that life will always deliver a fair trial.
This one's got a kind of Dark Souls anime vibe feel to it. Probably even do console as well at a later. Black Myth Wukong. Well, still, it doesn't have a release date, I'm sorry. But from what we've seen so far, it appears to be a definitive new generation console game only. It's an action RPG packed with really unique bosses and stuff, so I think it's safe to say that fans of Souls-like games will be pretty excited about this one. If you're one and you've missed the trailer, here's the last one they came up with. Dragon Age 4, well, right now, there's no release date for Dragon Age 4, and still a lot of things that nobody knows. Developers EA Games say that Dragon Age 4 would likely be launching in 2022, possibly later, and this time we can expect a lot of solace when the new game finally revealed.
Got your back. I've got your back. Demons, dragons, darkspawn, even the Dreadwolf.
What?
Forspoken, which I'm really excited about, is slated for release sometime next year. And this game's a narrative-driven adventure, according to its developers Square Enix, and that the game has been designed specifically for the PlayStation 5. In case you've missed it, here's the last trailer they came up with just very recently. It's a good one.
Is it gone? Yes, and we should leave this.
Starmight, on the other hand, is a brand new indie open-world RPG set to be released in the second half of next year, coming to PCs and also Xbox consoles, possibly though. Here's also a bit of its gameplay developers came up with that also says its Kickstarter page goes live this August 3rd.
We daydreamed about seeing places like this.
Finally, due to release on Xbox One, Series X and S, PlayStation consoles and PCs at some point in 2022. Dark Envoy is described as a non-linear sci-fi fantasy RPG with a mix of real-time and turn-based combat. Check it out.
Ended. Was it us? Or everything else that has changed?
I guess we just grew up. And now we can see the world for what it really is.
Corrupted mess. Filled with greed and violence.
A place of beauty, magical, but misunderstood.
It could have been. But they all chose to make it this way.
Then let's choose differently.